All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as John Lynch stopped by on KMBR this morning and broke down a number of interesting 49er topics. We'll comment on all of them coming up next. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle, and they're outstanding. Get the brisket chili. It's all amazing. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them Krug sent you. Get that brisket chili. Get those house-made potato chips. They are amazing. All right. Also, the 49er football season on the Krug Show is presented this year by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the entire world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. John Lynch stopped by today on the KMBR Morning Show, and he had a lot to say. Let's go through piece by piece what John had to say, and he had a lot of good things to say. And it was interesting. I mean, you never know exactly how John's going to react to all the different topics out there. He's an independent thinker, and he oftentimes gives his own thoughts. Now, he started off by talking a little bit. I don't know if he started off, but one of the first things he talked about was his thoughts on Robert Salah and the Liam Coen drama. He said, Salah truly meant it as a compliment. I think he wanted to put them on notice that we know. When he said sign stealing, that probably irritated them a little. I didn't think it would irritate them that much. Seems like they used it as a battle cry. A little dust up after the game. Those are just words. Everyone's good. We move forward. I mean, okay. I mean, it seems like they used it as a battle cry. Are you joking? NFL coaches will use anything as a battle cry. Anything. It's a long year. It's hard to motivate millionaires. They'll use anything and everything in their power to get any extra juice at all. So you didn't think they'd use it as a battle cry? Seems like they used it as a battle cry. You didn't think it would irritate them that much? You're a bunch of cheaters. But I mean it in the most respectful way. I mean, you're cheating, but you're damn good at it. Wow. I mean, talk about a spin. That is a spin. I mean, whoa, that's a spin. They seem to use it as a battle cry. What did you think they were going to do? Unbelievable. That is a priceless gem right there. Then Lynch went on to talk a little bit about the Upton Stout PI call. And you know what? This was the one call when I went back and watched it. Shanahan said, I can understand why they made that call. I really can't. I mean, that's anytime there's a kind of the mesh point between the receiver and the DB, there's going to be some hand fighting, chicken hand fighting, all kinds of little, there's a lot. When two players come together, there's always going to be some exchange of hands and arms and legs. He didn't grab him and throw him aside. I mean, he was covering him, and then he just figured out he's got time to get around him, got in front of him, and made the pick. Lynch said he didn't like it. He says, I didn't like it. I thought it was a game-changing play. It was. But I'll tell you, what it also was? It was a glimpse into the game-changing type player that Upton Stout can be and is. He's a dominant physical guy, man. I love Upton Stout. I mean, Upton Stout is everything I thought he was going to be. Tenacious, tough, pound for pound, strong, very competitive, great body control, all kinds of speed, all kinds of strength. Who cares that he's short? I mean, this guy's awesome. What a great athlete he is. What a difference maker. He's going to make a lot of plays. I mean, this guy's a rookie. Wait until he actually starts to recognize the patterns that are coming at him. And then all of a sudden he's going to start jumping routes and picking off passes and really impacting things. What a great young player he is. Then Lynch talked about Ricky Pearsall. And Ricky's got the knee. They think it's some kind of a PCL injury. He'll be listed as questionable for Thursday against the Rams. I guess we're just going to find out what kind of pain threshold Ricky can handle. And we don't know how much pain he's in, but it sounds like he's in a lot of pain. But it also sounds like it doesn't sound like there's like any real damage done to the knee unless we hear something more. But he'll be listed as questionable for this week against the Rams, which is a tough one because the Niners need him. Lynch also talked a little bit about Brock Purdy and Brock Purdy's toe. Yes, it was barking on him a little bit after the game and the day after. Lynch says he'll be questionable, listed as questionable to play this week. And then he went on to just say, hey, we're going to take every precaution to make sure Brock's all right. I think he is. The question is, can he turn it around from Sunday to Thursday and start? We're going to find out. It sounds like the Niners are leaning that way, that Brock will start on Thursday against the Rams. So that's that was some of the stuff that we got from Lynch. Now, I personally, I would go with Mac Jones. I would give Purdy the rest he needs. Turf toe, if it is turf toe, is not to be fooled around with, and letting him sit out a couple games to rest it. It was supposed to be 2 to 6 weeks, and then 2 weeks later he was back in the lineup. So that to me is absolutely something to not fool around with. Now, if Mac Jones is in a ton of pain, his knee's in a bad spot, all that, then maybe they have to go with Purdy. But I if it was me, I would sit Purdy for 2 or 3 weeks and give Mac Jones some run and see if Purdy can get that toe to heal up a little bit, which would be great. It'd be great if somehow they could get that toe to heal up and to not be bugging him as much as it appears to be bugging him. So that's one. If there's any indication early on, it's that Brock Purdy is going to go on Thursday against the Rams. John Lynch also talked about Mac Jones and, on Mac Jones playing if Purdy's not able to play. He said, Mac's doing well. Mac's been really good for us in every respect. And the way he's going about his rehab with the knee situation that he's been dealing with has been no different. He's tireless in his work. So I think Mac's in a good spot to back up or play if need be. So according to Lynch, Mac's ready to roll. And when he was talked about Purdy's availability, he says, we always look into everything for all of our players, and we will take every precaution to make sure that Brock's all right. I think he is. Now it's just a matter of, can he turn it around on a short week? I think he's listed as questionable, and I think it's a true reflection of where he's at right now. Questionable means 50-50. So that's a coin flip if he's going to play. All right, so that was Lynch on Salah versus Liam Coen, Lynch on Upton Stout, Lynch on Ricky Pearsall, Lynch on Brock Purdy, Lynch on Mac Jones. So you get a little bit of a little breakdown there on what John Lynch is thinking. So John Lynch also was talked about the D-line. And on the D-line, how the D-line just was a no-show against the Jaguars. He says, you have to hit the quarterback in this league. We got to find a way to put the quarterback under duress. I don't think we did a good enough job of that. We have to find a way to do that, especially with Matthew Stafford. So that was Lynch's comment on the Niner D-line. I don't know if he saw Brian Baldinger's comments on the Niner D-line, but Brian Baldinger went on the radio. He was asked what he saw from the Niners D-line against the Jaguars. He said, I didn't see anything. I didn't see great effort. When you come out of a game where you don't have a sack or a quarterback hit, what did they do? How did they impact the game? On the play, Fred Warner strips the ball out in the middle of the field. The ball is on the ground. You got 4 defensive linemen who have not even begun to peruse to the football. 4 Jacksonville offensive linemen beat all 4 49er defensive linemen to the football. Robert Salah can get all pissy about what Liam Coen is doing or whatever. I'd be pissed at my defensive line. That's what happens when you lose Nick Bosa. You lose a guy who knows how to play the game the right way. Whoo! Whoo! Baldy coming in hot. Coming in hot. And if you think that is hot, how about his breakdown on that play? Listen to this little doozy. Here's Baldy breaking down the play that Warner punched the ball out and the O-lineman beat the Niners D lineman to the football. And the Niners had Yatir Gross-Matos, Mikael Williams, Kalia Davis, and Bryce Huff, I believe, were the four guys that were out there. That's what he's talking about. Here's his breakdown on this play. Listen to this.
All that chirping after the game is just meaningless. But you want to know what is meaningful? This play. Like, this is a problem. All right? Trevor Lawrence has perfect protection. He wasn't sacked. He wasn't hit. And then he makes his check down here to Travis Hunter. And Fred does what Fred does. He comes and he punches the ball out. And the ball's right there on the ground. Here's the 49ers defensive line. This is the 49ers defensive line. Not one guy is pursuing the football. The entire offensive line of the Jags beats them to the ball. They're not even moving. And you wonder if they're going to miss Nick Bosa. That's 4 loafs on one play by the defensive line.
Wow. So now you got Baldy calling the Niners defensive line loafers on that play. Wow. In fairness to the Niner defensive line, I think Baldy's right. I mean, you can always find more hustle and look for more pursuit, more hustle, more. The ball means everything. Possession of the ball means everything. In fairness to the Niners defensive line on that play, there were 3 or 4 49ers right around the ball. And the way the play worked, the D linemen were kind of further away from it than the Jacksonville offensive linemen. And the D linemen are probably a little gassed because they've been chasing. So I'm just giving the D line a little bit of an apology for the D line, just from the standpoint of, are you really going to sprint 15 yards or 10 yards over there when there's 4 49ers all right around the football? It's almost like, hey, they got it covered. It doesn't look good that all of Jacksonville's linemen race over there, offensive linemen race over there, and every single one of their offensive linemen beat every single one of the 49ers defensive linemen to the ball. But it wasn't like their O-linemen recovered it, or, it was possible for their O-linemen to recover it. They were just hustling. It did show that Jacksonville's O-line was hustling a little bit more than the Niner D-line. But as I said, there were 3 or 4 Niners around the football, and the Niner defensive linemen could all see that. So what I'm going to get, there's 4 guys standing right around the ball, but I'm going to run from 8 to 10 yards away, and I'm going to hustle over it's a little bit of for the look, because the ball was already recovered at that point by the people next to the ball. But it's a bad look, and Baldy called it out there. So, I think basically I like how hard the 49er defensive line has played under Chris Kasarik. I don't see a lot of Cadillacing for the most part, but they may have been winded on that play. I'm not going to be as harsh as Baldy was there, calling them loafers. But, yeah, if I was Robert Salah, I'd like to see a little bit more urgency when the ball is on the carpet from every guy on my defense. All right, there you go. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.